Give us my chol, give us my chol, give us my chol, give a smile. Give us my chol, give us my chol, be the reason someone smiles. Give us my chol, give us my chol, give us my chol, give a smile. Give us my chol, give us my chol, be the reason someone smiles. Give us my chol, give us my chol, give a smile. Give us my chol, give us my chol, be the reason someone smile. Give us my chol, give us my chol, give us my chol, give a smile. Give us my chol, give us my chol, be the reason someone smiles. Simba gedola, liot liot besimcha. Simba gedola, liot liot besimcha. Simba gedola, liot liot besimcha. Simba gedola, liot besimcha. Simba gedola, liot liot besimcha. Simba gedola, liot liot besimcha. Simba gedola, liot liot besimcha.
Breakfast with Elli.
Mode ani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam shechezarta bi nishmati bechemla rabba emunatecha.
This is how you drink a pineapple.
Good morning and welcome to Breakfast with Elli. It is Wednesday, the 17th day of April, the 9th day of Nissan. The Torah portion is Metzorah, HaYom Revi'i L'Shabbos, the fourth day, counting up sword Shabbos, and we will be learning the fourth Aliyah. How are you guys doing? I'm having a little bit of a challenge with my machine over here, but you know, we'll get through it. We always do get through it. All right. So much to talk about today. Erev Pesach. We have so many things to do. So let's go. Men and boys, please take your two front sitzes and let's do it. Make a bracha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al mitzvat tzitzit.
All right. Everyone together, al divrei Torah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al divrei Torah.
Hareini mekabel.
Hareini mekabel alai mitzvat aseh shel ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. I take upon myself every single day to love my fellow friend in a very special way.
All right, Torah Tziva.
Ay Torah tziva lanu Moshe morasha keilat Yaakov. Torah tziva lanu Moshe morasha keilat Yaakov.
All right, time to give tzedakah.
pushki, the tzedakah box. I put it in the pushki, the tzedakah box. I put it in the pushki for someone else to keep. Yeah, I put it in the pushki, the tzedakah box. I put it in the pushki, the tzedakah box. I put it in the pushki for someone else in need.
All right, fantastic. Give that tzedakah, help another person. Very cool. Where is my, why isn't it doing its thing? Good morning, Ruthie. There we go. And that takes us to the Shema. All right. Are you ready? Here we go. Right hand over your eyes.
I put it in the pushki, the tzedakah box. I put it in the pushki, the tzedakah box. I put it in the pushki for someone.
All right, coffee and yogurt. All right. And now we have our breakfast. I have coffee, I have yogurt. Are you ready? It's a shahakol. Coffee
blessed coffee. God bless you for being a friend. When the whole world turns on me, it's only you on which I can depend. I want to taste you in the morning and a few times throughout the day. Yes, a cup or two in the evening too. For me, it's the only way. Yeah.
All right, Moshe, yes. Tali, yes, rather. Today in Jewish history. Well, following the 180-day feast for his subjects, which ended yesterday, King Achashverosh, Xerxes, began a 7-day feast for his subjects living in Shushan, the capital. It ended with him telling the queen to come to him and Vashti not listening and literally losing her head over the incident. Today is the yahrzeit of Rabbi Aryeh Levin, the tzaddik of Yerushalayim. Rabbi Levin was legendary for his selfless dedication in assisting his fellow, whether the sick, the poor, or those suffering under the British regime during the Mandate of Palestine. There is a link to the man who mistook his wife's foot for his own, and the value of stories. Rabbi Aryeh Levin passed away in 1969. Today's Nasi is Binyamin. We will be talking about that in just a few moments. All right, HaYom Yom for today, which is the night.
היום הזה הוא זמן שמחתנו, שמע את התפילה שבליבנו, ותמחול את כל עוונותינו ביום הזה.
Jewish people are not supposed to live to make money. We are supposed to make money to live. It's great if you can live in a beautiful home and drive a luxury car, as long as these frills do not cause you to lose focus of what is truly important and not important in life. Says today's HaYom, Jewish wealth is not made of houses and gold. The eternal Jewish wealth is the privilege of being a Jew who keeps the Torah and the mitzvahs, and bringing into the world children and grandchildren who do the same.
Banim uvnei banim. All right. That takes us to the Nasi for the day. If only we could. All right. Let me get to it. All right. Hold on one second. All right. On the ninth day, the prince of the children of Binyamin, Avidan, the son of Gidoni, whose offering was one silver dish whose weight was 130 shekels, one silver bowl of 70 shekels by sanctuary weight, both filled with fine flour mixed with oil for a meal offering, one golden top of 10 shekels filled with incense, one young bullock, one ram, one lamb in its first year for a burnt offering, one goat for a sin offering, and for a sacrifice of peace offering, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 yearly lambs. And this was the suffering of Avidan, the son of Gidoni, and Yehi Ratzon.
Yehi Ratzon milfonecha, Hashem Elokai ve'Elokei avoisai, shetoir HaYom bechastecho hagodol al nishmosi nekadishi, demischachim ketziparim u'metzaftzefim u'mishabchim Elokim zulosecho yehi rotzoin milefonecho Hashem Elokai ve'Elokei avoisai shebe'imani avdecho mishevet shekorovosi besoirosecho parsha shel hanosi hayoim Yotzim bi kedushas ze hashevet lehavi hinu lehaskin b'soy rasecho uve'yirasecho ilasos b'soy lecha kol yemei chayai ani v'zari v'zera zari me'yato b'yadoi l'omomei.
Oh dear, let's see what's going on over here. I thought I was broadcasting. Yes, I am. There you go. Okay. Live room has ended. How did that happen? Oh dear. All right. Let's see what we're doing here. We are going to go to a word from our sponsors. Just let me get this thing to move over here. All right, here we go.
And now, a word from our sponsors. PestProRidall.com.
PestProRidall.com, trusted by the best to keep away the pests. We are offering COVID-19 disinfection services. Mention this ad and get 1 month free service. Visit us at PestProRidall.com.
Tarzane Group, micro, miniature, and small orchids. Go to tarzanegroup.com or call Tomas at 305-440-0565. That's 305-440-0565 and order today. Visit Tomas and Yair at tarzanegroup.com. Micro, miniature, and small orchids, beautiful in your home. Go to the website and read Tomas's orchid blog. And by Dina D Design. DinaDDesign@gmail.com. Fine artwork, custom made to your specifications, logos, wall hangings, Judaica, and you can even have something for your child's room. Dina D Designs. Go to her Facebook or Instagram or call or text. Thank you very much to our sponsors. If you'd like to become a sponsor, please go right up here to where it says patreon.com/theactorsrabbi, and you can contribute even only $1 a month if you'd like, but that'll help us bring this broadcast to you on a daily basis and cover our expenses. Be sure to thank your sponsors when shopping and mention Breakfast with Elli when you're shopping there. There might be discounts. Thanks for watching.
Torah, Siva Lanu Moshe. Torah, Siva Lanu Moshe.
All right, patreon.com/theactorsrabbi or breakfastwithelli.live/new computer if you'd like to help us avoid issues like we are having today. In the fourth Aliyah, We learn that homes too can be afflicted with tsaras. If stones on a home become discolored, acquiring a strong red or green pigment, a kohen is summoned. If indeed the discoloration seems to be tsaras, the kohen quarantines the home for up to 3 weeks. Now, depending on the spread of the discoloration, the home is either declared to be pure or specific stones are removed from the house. In the most extreme cases, the house is demolished. And the Torah then describes the purification process for such a home, which is very similar to the initial stage of purification of a human afflicted with tsaras. And Rashi tells us something super fascinating about dismantling your house. And let's see if Rabbi Opson doesn't cover it. I'll mention it to you afterwards. Are you ready? All right. Let's go to Rabbi Epstein now, Parsha Point, with Rabbi Epstein for Wednesday. We're trying as best as we can.
Parsha Points, Metzorah for Tuesday. One's greatest strength can be their greatest weakness. Caution in how you apply your skills. They will be utilized. We're not for burying our talents. The two birds of even the poor man's Metzorah repair remind us of the two ways speech can be employed. Speech is an opportunity to connect and build community and to tear down and divide. Birds chirp, people speak. Speech is the unique human ability to express our deepest sense of self. Choose your words carefully. Don't be a bird brain.
All right, fantastic. Shnayim Yomi for today.
Revi'i, Parshas Metzorah. In Revi'i, we are introduced to a new form of tzaras, known as tzaras habayis. This manifests itself as a discoloration upon one's walls of one's house and reflects certain transgressions committed by the homeowner. The purification process of the house often results in its complete destruction. Rashi cites a medrash that teaches that upon the destruction of the house, precious gems, gold, and silver hidden in the walls by the Amorim, the Amorites, who inhabited Eretz Canaan prior to Bnei Yisrael entering land, would be found. And the commentaries question that this would seem to be an example of chota niskar, that a transgressor is being rewarded for bad behavior. How do we understand this? When Hashem punishes, He's not just to be punitive in nature, but rather it is to be corrective. He wants us to stop being self-destructive and change our ways. Now, very often, when people are being criticized, they don't accept criticism graciously. In fact, what happens is the opposite. That by criticizing a person for negative behavior, that causes the behavior to be more entrenched. You go over to somebody and you shush him, standing next to you in shul, he'll talk even more because he thinks to himself, why are you shushing me? Why don't you shush the guy on the other side of the shul? It's not because you don't really care about me, that I'm talking in shul, that it's hurting my own davening. It's that my talking is bothering you. So if criticism is being levied not for the benefit of the transgressor, but just because that person who is exhibiting this bad behavior is bothering you, almost always that criticism will not be accepted. In fact, it'll have the opposite effect. And in fact, most times that is how criticism is given. So the question is, how? How can you criticize someone for bad behavior that'll have a corrective effect and not actually entrench the behavior? So the shot is as follows, is that the only really way that you can give criticism in a manner that will be accepted if it's clear to the individual who is the recipient of this criticism that it's being done out of love for him and care for him. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu is doing the same thing. Punishing the person through tzaras habayis is criticizing him that he has to change his ways. HaKadosh Baruch Hu shows him that when he destroys his house, that he'll have the jewels, the gold, the silver, he'll have the funds to be able to rebuild. He now understands that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is doing this because he loves me and he wants me to change my ways, and therefore it now has the effect. The punitive impact will be corrective as well because he sees Hashem loves him by letting him find these jewels. Hashem does it in such a way that he now will embrace and accept the punishment and change his ways.
All right. Rabbi Martyr, part 4 or 3.
Good morning. We continue with our 3-minute daily dose of Torah. We've been looking at chametz this week as we come closer to Pesach, and I want to pick up this morning on the question about what are the methods through which we destroy chametz, how we fulfill the mitzvah of hashbatat chametz, that you should no longer have the presence of chametz with you. And the fact is that we actually have two methods. One is b'machshava and one is b'maaseh. One is what we do with our thoughts, and we actually say the words, although with thoughts it would be sufficient, and with actions that we take. So the actions that we take, I think you're familiar with, right? We take our chametz and we destroy it. We prefer to destroy it through fire, through burning the chametz. We can destroy it otherwise, like when Pesach has fallen on Erev Shabbos. When Shabbos is Erev Pesach, there you go, right? And let's say you would choose to eat a roll for Shabbos, for Lechem Mishnah in the morning, and then you want to get rid of your chametz if you can, so you flush it down the toilet, right? So that's also destroying the chametz, okay? And it's off your property, and you're like, right? So that's all there. But otherwise we burn the chametz. So that's what we do Erev Pesach in the morning. We take it, we bring it to some place safely where we can burn the chametz that we have. Interestingly, by the way, some posts can point out that, and I've been to chametz burns where there's a guy who's got a full can of accelerant, right, gas or whatever. He's squirting onto the fire. So interestingly, if a person wants to be fulfilling the practice as the Chachamim had described it through sreifa, through burning, you don't want to douse your chametz first with alcohol, because then you've made it not fit for eating, which is another way to destroy your chametz. And so yes, you've destroyed your chametz, but not through the way you the method that you were choosing to do, which is burning it. So if you're using an accelerant, you can maybe use it on the kindling or on the newspaper or the like. You don't have to squirt it right on the chametz until your chametz is already far along in the process. And then you should crush it or whatever, not with your hands, but with a poker, to make sure that everything is indeed destroyed. Because sometimes people just set it on fire and they leave it there, and it's actually just toast, and it's still edible. So like you want to make sure that you actually have completed the process. Now I said that the other method is b'machshava, and that is the method of bitul chametz, and we'll talk about that, God willing, tomorrow. Have a good day.
All right. And that takes us to our 2-minute rabbi.
Jewish audio on Chabad.org.
Back in the 70s, there was a very effective advertising tool for an auto filter. It showed a picture of a mechanic, and behind him there was a car getting some big job done on it. And the mechanic said, "You see that car? About 3 months ago, I recommended the guy get a Fram auto filter. It cost about $4. That was a long time ago. But customer didn't want to spend the money. Well, now he's got a blown engine. Cost him about $1,000. So you see, and here was the tagline, you pay me now or you pay me later." Whenever we get one of those signals, a little light that goes on the copy machine, a little rash that breaks out on our skin, we think to ourselves, what a nuisance. What can I do to cover it up? You know, on the highway, they have those little divots in the lanes that start to rattle if you wander outside of your lane. They're really annoying. We don't like them. But it's not them that we should be upset with. We should be grateful for them. They're telling us that we're out of sync, that we're misaligned. And if we don't do something about it now, we're going to have to do something about it soon. Because you see, you pay me now or you pay me later. The parasha speaks about this physical manifestation of a spiritual ailment, this skin development, or it could be on the clothing or on the walls of a person's house. They're a signal. They say, hey, something's wrong. Sadly, we often get annoyed with the signal instead of seeing it as a blessing, as a sign, as an early detection system, that we need to correct things. It's a gift from Hashem. It's a blessing. It comes from His kindness. It comes from His love. It comes from His concern. Take the message, because you see, if you don't, well, you'll have to deal with it soon, because you pay me now, or you pay me later.
Absolutely fantastic. All right, and that takes us to Rabbi Chaim Brook.
Fascinating thing that every single morning, right when we start our Birchas HaShachar, the brachas in the morning, we ask Hashem, Shetatzilenu HaYom, that you should save us today from a bunch of different things, including a shachin ra, an evil neighbor. We ask for, we don't want bad friends, we don't want unexpected death, but a bad neighbor? I know I live in Montana where neighbors have quite the physical distance, geographical distance, but what is it about neighbors? It's an interesting thing in the parsha Metzorah, when it talks about the tsaras that plagues the walls of a home. It says, "V'chiltzu es ha'avonim." You have to extract, you have to remedy the situation by extracting the rocks, the stone of the walls. But it says avonim lashon rabim. It says it in the plural. And Torah's Kohanim says that you have to take the stone both of his side of the wall and his neighbor's side of the wall. It goes so much so, the Medrash, to say that even if the neighbor's wall has a separation between your side of the wall, that entire area adjacent to the tsaras on your side needs to be cleared out both on your side and the neighbor's side. And that's interesting, because Rashi takes a different approach. Rashi's of the opinion that only the part that's visible to both sides needs to be extracted, but not the part on the neighbor's side that isn't directly visible to the tsaras. Why would the Medrash take such an extreme perspective on the negative effect of tsaras on a neighbor's wall, so much so it should affect you so dramatically? Says the Rebbe something incredible. The Medrash and Rashi are debating a much deeper concept. How much does a neighbor's negative influence affect us? And obviously that applies also to their positive influence. In other words, when choosing neighbors, how careful do we have to be? Rashi's of the opinion that having a neighbor who's a negative influence, who's a negative, brings a negative vibe, brings a spiritual malfunction to the neighborhood, is not positive, which is why if you can actually see the tsaras, then both sides of that stone and both stones that are connected to each other need to be eradicated, need to be removed. But Rashi doesn't think that it affects you so deeply, the neighbor, the good neighbor, that it penetrates your soul and your heart so much that you would have to remove the part of the wall that isn't visible, the part that's on your side. But the Medrash says that the impact of a negative neighbor, a sinful, pessimistic, negative force in the area can have such a detrimental effect on you, the neighbor, whether you realize it consciously or subconsciously, that when they get the tsaras on the wall, we need to send a memo through the community, so we have to eradicate the tsaras through and through, even if there's a separation between the two walls. Of course, there's a lot of other connections to this, how it relates to the Rambam and Rashi, and a bigger discussion about neighbors and neighborhoods as it relates to Miriam Bas Bilga and the Gemara and Sukkah, but we'll save that for a different day. But for today, let us internalize that. Let's pick the right friends, let's pick the right neighbors, and let's live in the healthy environments that are conducive for spiritual, emotional, mental growth, positive stability, and not, God forbid, the opposite. Have a wonderful evening.
All right. And that takes us to Tehillim. All right, chapters 23 and chapter 122. Almost for the last time. Starting Friday, we will be saying chapter 123, and I've put it up here so that you can see it. We will be learning chapter 123, so get ready. All right? Tehillim of chapter 123 and 122 for right now.
Mizmor leDavid, Adonai ro'i lo echsar, binos teshe, yarbitzeini, al menuchos yinahaleni, נפשי שובב, ינחני במעגלי צדק, למען שמו, גם כי לך בגיא צלמובס, אוי רע. כי אתה עמדי, שבטך ומשענתך, המה ינחמוני. תערוך לפניי שולחן נגד צורריי. תשענת בשמן ראשי, כוסי רוויה, אך טוב וחסד ירדפוני. כל ימי חיי ושבתי בביס אדוני לאורך ימים.
שמע לישראל ושמחתי ויאמרים לי ויסעלינו הנה אלי איים דייסה יהודה אלינו בשערייך ירושלים ירושלים הבנויה כאיש יחור עלי יחדיו ששמו שבטים שבטי העדות לישראל להידייס לשם עלינו שם ישבו חיסייס ומשפט כיסייס לבייס דוד שאלו שלוי מירושלים ישליו אוי הבייך ישליו מחילך שווה ויין ונייסייך
Tanya is up next and all ready for you. Let's go.
Tanya thoughts for the 8th of Nissan. When Moshe Rabbeinu went up to Mount Sinai to get the 10 Commandments, the angels argued, "Leave it with us. We're good. We never make mistakes. Why are you giving it to people?" Hashem encouraged Moshe to respond, and he was a little nervous. Maybe he couldn't talk them out of it. Hashem said, "Be strong, hold on to my throne, and you will." Moshe explained, Torah is for people who overcome challenges angels don't experience. Torah is for people who transform the God-denying world and make it into a God-welcoming world. That's why neshamas that serve Hashem with only instinctive love and fear, which is just like the angels do, are even closer with Hashem than the angels. Because humans resist temptation angels can't imagine. And humans transform. They make the oppositional world into a cooperative world.
Let's talk Tanya for the 9th of Nisan of a leap year. In yesterday's Tanya, we explained that Ahava and Yira, our feelings of love for God and our awe and reverence for God, are the wings that take the mitzvah and allow it to soar to the higher worlds. In today's Tanya, the Alter Rebbe says, but one second, Ahava and Yira themselves are mitzvahs. The Torah, one of the mitzvahs in the Torah is we have to love God. One of the mitzvahs in the Torah is we have to have Yira, we have to have awe for God. So it would seem that Ahava and Yira, as independent mitzvahs, have independent value. And yet the Alter Rebbe says, you might want to say surprisingly, it's a chiddush, that no, Ahava and Yira on their own are not an avodah. These are not part of our service of God. They are service mitzvahs, meaning that they are there to bring us to study Torah and do mitzvahs. On their own, they don't have value. He says, he gives an interesting analogy. He says that someone who only has feelings for God, someone only has, I said, yeah, I love God, I respect for God, I revere God, but doesn't actually use those feelings to motivate him or her to study Torah or do mitzvahs, it's comparable to someone who is standing in a river and screaming, water, water, I'm thirsty. Does anyone know where there's water? I would love to have some water. The same thing is also our feelings for God. Those represent our thirst for God. But if we're thirsty for God, we want to be close to God, but we're not actually studying Torah or doing mitzvahs to quench that thirst and to be able to experience God, it's like we are in water, right by the water, even in the water, but we're screaming, we're thirsty, we want water. Which is why there's a pasuk, a verse in Yeshaya, where the pasuk says, Hoi kol tzamei l'chula mayim, which means, hey, whoever's thirsty, go to the water. And the obvious question is, that's wisdom? Like, obviously, anyone who's thirsty will go to drink water. But the answer is, there are some people who are thirsty. What are they thirsty for? They are thirsty for God. And they're unaware of the fact that the water to quench that thirst is Torah, is mitzvahs. And the Navi is saying, if you're thirsty for God, you have those feelings, you love God, you have awe for God, l'chula mayim, go to the water. Go quench that thirst through studying Torah and through doing mitzvahs. With this, we have concluded chapter 40 of Tanya. With this, we have concluded, actually, you might want to say, a mini segment of 6 chapters of Tanya. We started with chapter 35. 35, 36, and 37 of Tanya spoke about Dira B'Tachtonim, the importance of making for God a dwelling place over here in this world, and that is specifically through the physical mitzvahs. And then we have the next 3 chapters, 38, 39, and 40, which we just concluded, where there the Alter Rebbe says, yes, the action is very important, but feeling is also important. The feelings are important because they add a spiritual content to the action, and they allow the revelation of the godliness over here in this world. Again, the most important thing always is the mitzvah, to do the mitzvah, but we try to enhance the mitzvah and enhance the revelation within the mitzvah through the feelings that we have, the feelings of ahava and yira, love and awe. Now, we understand why we need to have spiritual content to the mitzvahs. That's what we explained over the past few days. Spirituality is a conductor for the revelation of the divine. But the question still remains, why do we need to have 2 wings? Why do we have to have love and awe? I understand that my mitzvah has to have a spiritual basis to it in order to facilitate the revelation of God, but why isn't love enough? Why isn't awe itself enough? Why do we need to have both of them? And the answer to that question, the Alter Rebbe, we will talk about that extensively in the upcoming chapter, in chapter 41.
And guess what? Just like that, we are at the laws of Pesach. All right, fantastic. Now, we talked about B'dikat Chametz, the search for Chametz, and we have talked about the preparations for Pesach. Now, we come to the morning of Erev Pesach. The morning of Erev Pesach. You go to shul early in order to allow ample time to eat chametz after davening, and while in shul, you should clean and remove any chametz from your locker, your table, your area that you sit, where you store things. All right? The paragraph Mizmor Lasoda is not recited until after Pesach. And here's the big one. Every male firstborn child under the age of, as well as the father of a male child known as a Bechor, meaning the first chosen, the first son, must fast and eat from a Sudas mitzvah, a siyum, a bris, a pidyon, a ben, something like that, and not eat before partaking of this Sudas mitzvah. Now, Sudas mitzvah is held whenever we complete the book of the Talmud, whenever we have a simcha, a bar mitzvah, a siyum, a bris, a pidyon, a ben. A siyum may be made on a section of Gemara or an entire book of the Mishnah. Siyum can be even made by a child. The usual Kaddish the Rabbanim is recited when making the Siyam, and not the Kaddish HaGadol printed in back of the Gemara. A Bechor, or the father of a Bechor under the age of Bar Mitzvah who did not hear a Siyam, must fast. Wine and grape juice should not be drunk at the Sudas Mitzvah or at all on Erev Pesach. Apples, pears, nuts, and maror, horseradish, or lettuce, whatever you use for the maror, are not eaten until after the second Seder. Now, what you eat for the Seder is a whole different story. That's okay. But just, can't have an apple for a snack. Most activities are prohibited on Erev Pesach after midday. That includes tailoring or sewing new garments, laundering, writing meticulous documents, and giving haircuts. However, you are allowed to instruct a non-Jew to do these things for you, or do it yourself if necessary to prevent hefsid meruba, a large, a real financial loss. Mend a vessel, a used vessel or garment for Pesach if it's damaged only slightly. You may do this for others without pay. Since one may not launder on Chol HaMoed either, you should make sure that the laundry is done before midday on Erev Pesach. So you have from now until Monday noontime, all right? You should get a haircut in honor of Pesach. And again, we do not take a haircut until Erev Shavuos, which is the 5th of Sivan. So 7 weeks. So make sure you take a haircut before midday on Monday. Nails are trimmed in honor of Pesach. All right. Ideally, they should be trimmed before midday, and you should not donate blood or undergo any procedures or tests involving blood loss. Now, this is obviously volunteer things. All right. Anything in great need and pekuach nefesh, saving a life, doesn't fall into that category. We do anything that we can for pekuach nefesh and saving a life. All right. We have time today for this quick video.
Seven order of the day.
You want Mashiach?
each and every day. I'll never miss my daily Rambam. My Rebbe so desires. I'm not busy or too tired. When I learn Rambam connected, I remain. I am a link in the Rebbe's golden chain.
All right, we are up to Rambam class number 21.
Baruch Hashem, it is day number 22 of our daily study of the Rambam Sefer Mitzvahs. We mentioned yesterday that we're going to be studying this same mitzvah over and over again for several days. And that is because the way we study Rambam Sefer Mitzvahs is we study the mitzvahs that correspond to the subject matter that we are studying in the 3 chapters a day of Mishnah Torah. Now, in the 3 chapters a day of Mishnah Torah, yesterday, we finished the laws of Shema, and we started the laws of Tefillah, of prayer. We did chapter 1. Today, in the 3 chapters a day of Mishnah Torah, we're doing chapters 2, 3, and 4 of the laws of prayer. And there are 15 chapters total, so we have several more days of this. I'm going to try, with Hashem's help, to bring out different interesting aspects of the mitzvah, because we're going to be learning it every day. All right, so here we go. Positive commandment number, do you remember from yesterday when it was? Number 5. Yes. Positive commandment number 5 is the mitzvah to serve Hashem through prayer. That's how the Rambam frames it. It's the mitzvah to serve Hashem, specifically how? Through prayer. Very interesting. How often should you pray? I mean, we know Jews pray 3 times a day. Okay. So in chapter 1 that we studied yesterday in the 3 chapters a day of Mishnah Torah, the Rambam says praying 3 times a day, the prayer times, that's rabbinic. The biblical obligation is once a day. Once a day you should pray. Also the words, the specific wording is rabbinic. But to pray in some words at least once a day, that is biblical. Okay. Very interesting. The Ramban, Nachmanides, Rav Moshe ben Nachman, who came after the Rambam, he wrote a commentary on the Sefer Mitzvahs known as the Hasagas Ramban, and he disagrees vehemently. He says there is no such biblical obligation to pray every day. No such thing. And he makes a very strong argument based on pointing out the way that halachically we treat prayer differently, more leniently, than similar obligations such as Birkas Hamazon and Shema. Birkas Hamazon is the grace after meals, and Shema is the recitation of the Shema Yisrael that we spoke about yesterday. So those are similar mitzvahs because they have to do with speaking words of praise of Hashem. And those are in a different category than prayer. And the Ramban says, you know why? Because the grace after meals and saying the Shema are biblical obligations. They are mitzvahs. They're each one of them are one of the 613. Prayer is not one of the 613. It's not. It's a completely rabbinic concept, prayer. That's what the Ramban says. Okay. So according to the Ramban, would there ever be a biblical obligation to pray? Or is it only rabbinic all the time? Well, I'll tell you. The Ramban actually learns that prayer comes from another source. The Rambam says it's the mitzvah of serving Hashem through prayer. The Ramban says it's the mitzvah to rely on, to call out to cry out in times of crisis, in times of an acute need. That when your back is against the wall, who do you turn to? Who do you cry out to? To Hashem. And that is the biblical obligation. But according to the Ramban, that only happens when you're in such a situation. So it doesn't necessarily happen every day. Maybe it never happens. So according to the Rambam, there's a mitzvah to pray every day. According to the Ramban, the mitzvah The mitzvah to pray is only in response to an acute need that should arise, but only if it does arise. And that is a fundamental distinction in the ways that the Rambam and the Ramban view this cornerstone of Jewish life, of prayer. We're going to continue talking about the mitzvah of prayer for the next few days. So let's keep it up. We'll see you tomorrow with Hashem's help.
Let's study some more about positive mitzvah number 5, the mitzvah of davening. Although the 3 daily prayers as we know them today, Shacharis, Mincha, and Ma'ariv, have many parts, the central part of every tefillah is the Amidah. On weekdays, the Amidah is a 19-blessing text which covers the 3 basic parts of davening we discussed yesterday. 3 blessings praising Hashem, 13 blessings where we ask for our needs, and 3 blessings at the end, thanking Hashem for the good He has given us. On Shabbos and holidays, we replace the middle 13 blessings with just 1 blessing discussing the theme of the day. The 3 first and the 3 last remain as regular. We also add an additional prayer on Shabbos and holidays called Musaf. The Musaf Amidah also has 7 blessings, with the middle blessing discussing the unique sacrifice that were brought in the Beis HaMikdash on every single holiday.
Matters of Mashiach.
והוא גואלנו, והוא גואלנו, והוא גואלנו, משיח צדקנו, הרבי מלובביץ' מלך המשיח, הרבי מלובביץ'.
They should keep the way of Hashem to perform righteousness and justice. You shall follow Hashem, fear Him, keep His commandments, heed His voice, worship Him, and cleave to Him. Exile, galus, is compared to a father and son playing hide and seek. A foolish son will soon give up and cry, but a wise son will not lose heart. He knows that his father is merely testing him. When the son shows his wisdom and his faithfulness, a father will reveal himself and kiss the son with increased love and affection. So too, the first step to knowing Hashem is to know His ways, go in His ways, follow His Torah, keep His mitzvahs. At first, we may not see the godliness in these acts, like a child searching for his father. Yet, every step we take to fill our lives with Torah and mitzvahs and acts of goodness and kindness, that will bring us one step closer to the time when our Father in heaven, Hashem, will reveal Himself with Mashiach Tzidkenu, may it be speedily in our days.
Shalom Aleichem, everybody. Hope all is well. Everybody's looking at the situation and seeing what is Israel going to do. Well, first of all, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is with the Jewish people in the Holy Land. We know that all those who bless Israel will be blessed, and all those who curse Israel will surely be cursed. Starting with the children of Israel is not a good idea. Iran is, experiencing that, and now Israel seems like they will respond, but they haven't just yet, and I guess that's also strategic. The fact that Iran is waiting, that's also a blow on them. Now, we have to pray to God, pray that the situation improves, and we have to pray that we have ultimate victory, and that is with Mashiach, the Messiah, who will come and bring peace on earth, peace for all of mankind, and a revelation of God throughout the world. That is what we ultimately yearn for more than anything else. God bless you.
Passover season, the Charosa Drive, where we distribute for large families, for in-house food during Passover, everything together we call our Charosa Drive. Today we're sending out DoorDash to families of widowed and divorced single mothers, and we're sending out, as you can see here, there's DoorDash taking them, and we're sending out over there is the eggs, this is the grape juice, and inside we're putting bags of produce, right? There's blue bags, our bags of produce, and with your help we can help so many people in need. Please go to masbia.org/Passover. Thank you, and may we all hear good news from all of our brothers and sisters everywhere, especially in Eretz Yisrael. Thank you, and Tiskal Mitzvahs.
All right, Mouthfuls of Kitchen and Food Pantry this week were approved. The 879, 7 days worth of pantry food, hot meals every single day in Flatbush Borough Park in Queens. In Rockland County, it's tomcheishabbos.org. In Lakewood, tomchei.org. In Chicago, breakfastwithelli.live/Chicago Food Bank. In Teaneck, New Jersey, or in Bergen County in general, it's Tomchei Shabbos of Bergen County. Achi Ezer is there to help out. If everything else goes wrong, you know you have Achi Ezer to help you out, okay? They are there 24/7 if you need them. And Just One Shabbos, a beautiful organization dedicated to bringing, yes, our youth back to the beauty of keeping. If you are, God forbid, the victim of or see a hate crime in progress, you need to call 911 immediately without hesitation. It's super important, okay? All right. Hatzalah EMS. Excuse me. Global Assist app available in the iOS and the Android stores. Put it on your phone and label it ICE, I-C-E. All right? Miss Askim in times of bereavement will help you out with absolutely everything. I am still advocating for you to wear a mask. I do see some people still wearing masks.
Mask, wear a mask. Is this really much to ask? Tie some fabric
there will
around
come
your
a time
face, so it's
when
the
we're just going to have to brave it and go out.
At the gym, at
But
the
in the
store,
meantime, if you're
don't
going
treat
to
it like
crowded
such a
areas,
chore.
I'm not advocating for you to wear a mask in the street. I'm not advocating for you to wear a mask at home. I'm pretty sure that you're okay when people come over to the house that you don't have to wear a mask. But in crowded areas, shopping, movies, Broadway, theater in general, any type of mass entertainment, whatever it is that you go to, you should be wearing a mask still. I think once spring springs officially, we'll be okay. But up until then, and none of this will matter unless you are vaccinated. If you haven't gotten your vaccinations, please go out and get them. There is your polio vaccine. There is your COVID vaccine. There is your monkeypox vaccine. There's the RSV vaccine. Stay up to date. Be healthy. It's the brilliant thing to do. And the Mordechai Ben David Songbook.
Hey, good Shabbos, good Shabbos.
Shabbos, good Shabbos.
Uncle
Sit down, please. Join the Oineg.
Just one Shabbos and we'll all be free. Just one Shabbos, come and join with me. Let's sing and dance through the sky.
All right, fantastic. Contact our dear friend Shlomo Melman at kumsitseverywhere@gmail.org or iPhone, text, or WhatsApp to 301-785-7159. All right, time to bring some heaven down to earth. The sages said about pride, excommunicated is the one who has it, and excommunicated is the one who doesn't. I'm sorry, what? Pride makes a mortal being into an idol. But without it, can we change the world? However, there's a way to harness our pride. Our conscious mind must know that it is Ephes, it's nothing. And the power that Hashem placed in our heart can then burst forth. Talking like I'm from New York. All right? Come talk to me about it more. What does that mean? On Clubhouse, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Telegram, Twitter, WhatsApp, YouTube, or theactorsrabbi.com, where you can sign up for life coaching services should you need. Baruch ato Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam boirei nefashos rabos v'chesronan al kol ma sheborosa lachayos bohem nefesh kol chai baruch chai ha'olamim. People ask me, where am I going for Pesach? And I'm telling them, Pesach in der Heim, Pesach at home. I'm too crazy fanatic to go out to anybody's house for Pesach. Thank you to my Patreon sponsors, Pesper Riddle, Tarzan Orchid, Dina D Design, Bracha Biederman, Avi G, Reza Musavi. You guys hold it up. You hold it together. Thank you so much for all of your help. Thank you to everyone who has so far donated to patreon.com/theactorsrabbi or breakfastwithelli.live/new computer to help us get through. Now, the last half of the show was really, really great, right? It came off great. All right. Benny Friedman and Zayit's Band and Yedidim are singing this brand new version of Pesach in der Heim, Pesach at home. I think it came from this video, actually. Go out and make it a great and glorious day. Do something nice and something good for someone today. In the words of Revi'i Kamler, have affection for a fellow. Hashem will have affection for you. Do a kindness for a fellow. Hashem will do a kindness for you. Draw a fellow close, and Hashem will take his loving arms and draw you close to him. Those same arms that took us out of Egypt that we are celebrating in 6 days. So stay tuned to this live stream every single day up until Pesach, with the exception of Shabbat, of course. And we will be here. Now, there will be no broadcast next Tuesday and Wednesday because it is Yom Tov. So get your fix in now. We've got lots to do. And yes, we will be broadcasting a siyum on Monday for those of you who are firstborns and those of you who hold by hearing a siyum on the phone. Now, there were special provisions made to do that during COVID. Check with your local Orthodox rabbi to see if they still apply. All right? Be the reason someone smiles, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Enjoy Pesach in der Heim.
שיעמדו לאבויסנו ולנו שלא יכול בלבד שלא יכול בלבד אלו שבכל דויר ודויר עומדים עלינו לך לא יסיינו אלו שבכל דויר ודויר עומדים עלינו לך לא יסיינו והקדוש ברוך הוא הצילנו מאויב והקדוש ברוך הוא הצילנו מידם שלא יחמם בלבדו אמר עלינו שלא יחמם בלבדו אמר עלינו שלא יחמם בלבדו אמר עלינו לך לא יצאנו אילו הוציאנו ממצרים דיינו אילו הוציאנו ממצרים דיינו 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 HaYom rov vayonos hayardei yisoyv leyochoy hehorim rotuchi elim givois given eitzoy Baruch hamokoy Baruch hamokoy Baruch Baruch hamokoim Baruch hu Baruch sheno santo yero sheno santo yero liyamo Yisroel Baruch hu Baruch hamokoim Baruch hu Baruch sheno santo yero sheno santo yero liyamo Yisroel Baruch hu Pesach auf der Nacht, wenn der Tate kommt daheim, Finchi. Titte sich dem Kittel, die Kiddush macht mit der heilige Gefühl. Schine allein die ganze Familie kommen sie gein. Die Idele hypt und der Seider herrlich in Schein. Sucht Kaddish, hier gaat Karpas, ja gaat Magi, Rochzo, Moitzi, Matzo, Muroi, Hoireich, Shilchon, Noireich, Zufoi, Ureich, Alayl Nirzo. Sucht Kaddish, hier gaat Karpas, ja gaat Magi, Rochzo, Moitzi, Matzo, Muroi, Hoireich, Shilchon, Noireich, Zufin, Ureich, Alayl Nirzo.
Oy 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 me yash boys yo med yo oy le hoy she ye bi oy ibne de ye bi oy ibne de ve ya va mo oy du la shem ki toy ki le yoy lom khastoy oy du la shem ki toy vay ay son avo
Bring them home, bring them home. We've been praying for so long, so Abba, please bring them home. Bring them home, please bring them home. We've been praying for so long, so Abba, please bring them home. We're coming home, we're almost home.